Left of the box. Donald Trump about to be president of the United States again, and already alarm bells are going off. So Trump announces blanket tariffs on goods imported from Canada, Mexico, and China. Because the thing you want to do when you're in charge of a country is piss off all your number one trading partners. That's what you want to do. You want to get into trade wars with the countries that are your primary trading partners. That's common sense conservative type thinking there. It's going to be a long century. The next 4 years is going to be a long century. Here we have some statements from Donald Trump. As everyone is aware, is it possible to read anything from Donald Trump and not change your voice these days? As everyone is aware, thousands of people are pouring through Mexico and Canada, bringing crime, drugs at levels never seen before. Yes, as evil Canadians. Though Canadians are the largest group of people who are undocumented in the United States. It's about time we get acknowledged. Right now, a caravan coming from Mexico, composed of thousands of people, seems to be unstoppable in its quest to come through our currently open border. There's no open border in the United States. It's not a thing. It's not a thing. And the quest of people wanting a better life. Oh no! On January 20th, as one of my many first executive orders, I will sign all necessary documents to charge Mexico and Canada a 25% tariff on all products coming into the United States and its ridiculous open borders. This tariff will remain in effect until such time as drugs, in particular fentanyl, and illegal aliens stop this invasion of our country. Both Mexico and Canada have the absolute right and power to easily solve this long-simmering problem. We hereby demand that they use this power until such the time that they do. It is time for them to pay a very big price. Yeah, it won't be us paying that price if you... Somebody really, really needs to sit down with Donald Trump and tell him what a tariff is. I don't think he knows. And the people are going to suffer. And you see, the thing is when I read the comments for this, like they talk about the left having Trump derangement syndrome, but it really is more people on the right are deranged. They really are. Because they look at a statement like this from Donald Trump and say, oh no, like Canadians are saying, oh no, he's totally right. Canada should be punished and suffer because we do have the ability to fix this and we're not. So it's really Justin Trudeau's fault for Donald Trump just imposing a 25% tariff. Why? Because that will stop drugs getting into the country? Most drugs get into countries through legal ports of entry. We all know that. It's the amount of guns being exported out of the United States into other countries, probably far more problematic. But of course, he wasn't done with just Canada and Mexico. Also, you have to get China in there too. I've had many talks with China about the massive amounts of drugs, in particular fentanyl, being sent into the United States, but to no avail. Representatives of China told me that they would institute their maximum penalty, that of death, for any drug dealers caught doing this, but unfortunately, they never followed through. Unfortunately, they aren't executing and killing enough people in China. And drugs are pouring into our country, mostly through Mexico, at levels never seen before. Until such a time as they stop, we will be charging China an additional 10% tariff above any additional tariffs on top of their many products coming into the United States of America. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So basically, everything in the United States people will have to start selling organs, bodily organs, in order to afford a night out. This is so ridiculous to get into. Like, there's no reason for this. There's none. He's just doing it. Like, there's no logical thought there. There's no reason for Trump to be doing this. He doesn't even need to rile up his base anymore. He's already won. To start these types of trade wars with your number one trading partners to cause like an economic collapse in all of our countries, for what? For what? He's won. He's already won. This is ridiculous. All it will do is hurt everyone. Like, this doesn't benefit anything. It has nothing to do with illegal drugs or weapons or anything getting across the borders. Like, raising tariffs will do nothing to change that. It's not about open borders because none of our borders are open. And so here is Toby Lukic or whatever, and saying something like, this is harsh, but the U.S. is well within its right to demand this. They want the border to be a border. Canada has 2 months' notice to implement these demands. If these tariffs hit, it would be incredibly painful for Canadians. Who is this douchebag anyway? Oh, the CEO of Shopify. Sorry, I've just seen this. You could have gotten a better picture. I'm just saying that profile picture is a little... I would suggest a different profile pic there. I'm just saying. But here we have like greedy, rich corporation people just, licking Donald Trump's barefoot. Like, there's not even a boot on his foot that they're licking because it got licked off. It was just like, how many licks to the foot? Hi, Abernathy. Everyone will want to see you. Okay. I need to go back to the horrible news, Kat. You got me all distracted. As far as distractions go, this is a really good reason to be distracted. Yes, greedy corporation CEOs. Because this will help Shopify's business. This isn't the only issue with Shopify from what I've heard. There's something else going on. I forget what it is. That, I know that they're a sponsor of some programs that I like, and I don't know if I would never sponsor them. I will never sponsor Shopify. I will never use Shopify for my items. Let's just put it that way. Because of the reputation and stuff that this company has. But like the idea that we can just shut down borders, like the borders aren't open to begin with. Drugs get through legal ports of entry all the time. Drugs are made in America as well. It's not like they're all made from outside of America and flow in. They export a fair bit of drugs themselves. Like, again, this is just, it's for nothing. It's for nothing. Trump is doing this and he doesn't need to. He's won. He's won. All this will do is hurt the economies of all of our countries. That's all it will do. And it's getting some people nervous. But before we go to why some of the people are getting nervous, it's not like American politicians are done demonizing Mexico and Canada. Because Lindsey Graham here, he has things to say about it too.
Germany, France, if you try to help the ICC, we're going to sanction you. So to any ally, Canada, Britain, Germany, France, if you try to help the ICC, we're going to sanction you.
Well, that means I want every ally, and you saw little Justin in Canada and his position. What should the penalty be?
We should crush your economy because we're next. Why can't... So to any ally,
So this was about the ICC ruling, but it's, again, just this idea that any American politician thinks it's a good idea to crush the economy in Canada or Mexico, and what? It will have zero effect on Americans? Like, our economies are so intertwined. Like they're so attached to each other that if one goes down, they all go down. So threatening to destroy Canada's economy, you're threatening to destroy America's economy as well. So how are some of us, our politicians, taking it? Well, I haven't listened to this yet, but this is from CPAC. PM Trudeau tells reporters phone call with incoming U.S. President Donald Trump after threat to impose 25% tariffs on products from Canada and Mexico. It was a good call. This is something that we can do, laying out facts, moving forward in constructive ways.
Obviously talked about laying out the facts, talking about how the intense and effective connections between our two countries flow back and forth. We talked about some of the challenges that we can work on together. It was a good call. This is something that we can do, laying out the facts, moving forward in constructive ways. This is a relationship that we know takes a certain amount of working on, and that's what we'll do. One of the really important things is that we be all pulling together on this. The Team Canada approach is what works. That's where, putting aside partisanship, that's where I reached out immediately to Doug Ford to agree with him that we would have a First Ministers meeting this week to talk about the United States. Talked with François Legault and some other premiers as well. There's work to do, but we know how to do it. We obviously.
I don't think he's taking it as a serious threat because maybe he knows he's not going to be prime minister during most of Trump's reign. Like it'll be interesting to see, like with the blustering that Pierre Poilievre likes to do and stuff like that, how he'll actually handle going toe to toe with Donald Trump, because Pierre Poilievre will want to agree with Donald Trump on most things, but what are we going to do about closing the open borders when they're not open in the first place? So Pierre Poilievre will be faced with impossible situations of wanting to agree with Donald Trump, but there's literally nothing that you can agree with because it's not real, versus, having our economy and stuff destroyed. But, we could have had a leader like they have in Mexico who was a little bit more strong in what she had to say. Sorry, I'm getting like cat fur all over my face. And it's tickling because this cat sheds like nobody's business. So this is from the President Claudia Sheinbaum. I don't know if that's how you say her name. Penned a letter to Donald Trump. It's brilliant, firm, and unflinching. A document that will set a tone for an new era of U.S.-Mexican relations. I've posted the English translation below. Dear President-elect Donald Trump, I am writing you regarding your statement on Monday, November 25th concerning migration, fentanyl trafficking, and tariffs. You may not be aware that Mexico has developed comprehensive policy to assist migrants from different parts of the world who cross our territory en route to the southern border of the United States. As a result, and according to data from your country's Custom and Border Protection, encounters at the Mexico-United States border have decreased by 75% between December 2023 and November 2024. Moreover, half of those who arrive do so through legally scheduled appointments under the United States CBP program. For those reasons, migrant caravans no longer arrive at the border. Even so, it is clear that we must work together to create a new labor mobility model that is necessary for your country, as well as address the root causes that compel families to leave their homes out of necessity. If even a small percentage of what the United States allocates to war were instead dedicated to building peace and fostering development, it would address the underlying causes of human mobility. I'm liking this statement. This is an awesome statement. On another note, for humanitarian reasons, Mexico has consistently expressed its willingness to help prevent the fentanyl epidemic in the United States from continuing. This is, after all, a public health consumption problem within your society. Love the shade there. So far this year, Mexican armed forces and prosecutors have seized tons of various types of drugs, 10,340 firearms, and have detained 15,640 individuals for violence related to drug trafficking. Furthermore, the Mexican Congress is in the process of approving a constitutional reform to classify the production, distribution, and commercialization of fentanyl and other synthetic drugs as a serious crime without bail. However, it is publicly known the chemical prosecutors used to produce this and other However, it is publicly known that chemical prosecutors used to produce this and other synthetic drugs are illegally entering Canada, the United States, and Mexico from Asian countries. This underscores the urgent need for international collaboration. You may also be aware that illegal trafficking of firearms into my country from the United States. 70% of the illegal weapons seized from criminals in Mexico come from your country. We do not produce these weapons, nor do we consume synthetic drugs. Tragically, it is in our country that lives are lost to the violence resulting from meeting the drug demand in yours. President Trump, migration and drug consumption in the United States cannot be addressed through threats or tariffs. What we need is cooperation and mutual understanding to tackle these significant challenges. Justin, you could have said that. You could have said that. For every tariff, there will be a response in kind until we put at risk our shared enterprises. Yes, shared. For instance, among Mexico's means exported to the United States are General Motors, Stellantis, and Ford Motor Company, which arrived in Mexico 80 years ago. Why impose a tariff that would jeopardize them? Such measures would be unacceptable and would lead to inflation and job losses in both the United States and Mexico. Justin, why didn't you say this? Why? As opposed to, we're just going to be friendly and work with them as best we can. I am convinced that North America's economic strength lies in maintaining our trade partnership. This allows us to remain competitive against other economic blocs. For this reason, I believe that dialogue is the best path to understanding peace and prosperity for our nations. I hope our teams can meet soon to contribute building joint solutions. That is an awesome statement. I wish Justin did anything remotely close to this. Because here's Doug Ford, notable Donald Trump supporter, now kind of worried that this could affect us. Like he couldn't foresee everything that Donald Trump would be. Doug Ford just wants to be Donald Trump, but then once Donald Trump's policies affect Ontario, suddenly it's a problem because it's going to make Doug Ford look bad. So Doug Ford says a 25% tariff would be devastating to workers and jobs in both Canada and the U.S. The federal government needs to take the situation at our border seriously. We need a Team Canada approach and response. And we need it now. Prime Minister Trudeau must call an urgent meeting with all premiers. And this is from Bridget just saying, you've been cheering for Trump. What changed? I bet you didn't see this coming despite the obvious warning signs, just like you don't see the damage you're doing to public health care because you profit from privatization. Yes. Donald Trump putting tariffs on things just going to absolutely destroy the economies of all countries involved. Like, you don't go to war with your number one trading partners. And China, Canada, United States, and Mexico's, we're all within, each other's countries. Like, we're the number one trading partners of each other's countries. It's really just... And again, he's doing this for no reason. What does he really think he's going to win from this? Like, to fight a fictional threat by imposing sanctions that would basically hurt his own people. What does he think he's going to get from this? Like, it's just,